Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray edition of Death Wish. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guy 365. Okay, Death Wish is here on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, released by Kino Lorber. It can be found as a slipcover edition, available at your online retailers. Now, as far as the movie itself, I would say I was in my early 20s when I first watched it, and I've been a big fan ever since. I haven't seen all the sequels, just 2 and 3, but the original is still my favorite. I've always liked Charles Bronson and the characters that he plays, kind of an unassuming tough guy, and with the gritty nature and raw style of the film, this definitely appealed to me. To this day, I haven't seen the remake starring Bruce Willis, but I've been told pretty much to just skip it and stick to the original. Watching it for the first time after about 7 or 8 years, I'm always reminded of how real and in-your-face some of the violence and situations are. And also, I always forget that Jeff Goldblum got his first role in this movie. I see it and I'm like, wow, that's Jeff Goldblum. But yeah, I mean, the character himself, I don't really want to spoil it, but it's definitely interesting. Death Wish, which is certainly a product of its era, is absolutely worth checking out for those looking for a good, semi-realistic revenge thriller. And also be sure to check out the 4K edition of Death Wish 2 from Vinegar Syndrome. It's well worth your money and time. Alright, we're going to talk about the picture quality and the audio in just a moment, but first, let's do a quick unboxing. Okay, we have the 4K Ultra HD slipcover edition of Death Wish from Kino Lorber. I actually really like the artwork. I think it fits perfectly, so I really couldn't ask for anything better. And we have the back, the spine, interior. We have reversible artwork, which I'll show in a moment. And then your basic Kino Lorber art. We have some reversible artwork here. I believe this is original poster, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I like it. I think it's actually very cool, and I like it when Kino and other labels do this. So, now let's talk about the picture quality and the audio. Death Wish on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray has a 1:85:1 aspect ratio with native 4K resolution and graded with both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. For purposes of this review, I will be discussing the Dolby Vision encode. Now, the film on 4K is a result of a restoration from the original camera negative according to Kino Lorber. Major imperfections are kept to a bare minimum, though occasional white specks dot the image. Film grain thankfully didn't appear to be scrubbed away with any DNR. The movie is a gritty 70s thriller, and it retains its filmic-like quality. During night scenes and dimly lit interiors such as the subway platforms, grain can look a little heavier but never seems obtrusive. The 4K resolution shows off details very well. Close-ups look great with every imperfection in the skin and bead of sweat readily visible. Mid-level shots also have appreciable gains. The grimy streets of 70s New York are on full display for better or worse. Speaking of the 70s, the aesthetic does receive a serviceable boost with Dolby Vision. In the opening moments of the film, I was taken back how lush the colors look during Paul and his wife's Hawaiian vacation. When the film moves over to New York for most of the duration, the palette settles a bit with the typical era-specific look. Browns, yellows, and reds look full and visually pleasing. Some occasional highlights such as clothing of the time and blue skies allow for a bolder appearance, though staying true to the tone of the movie. Black levels produce solid, deep nighttime sequences, especially when Paul is out hunting. In the case of dark clothing, details are still visible with no signs of crush. Kino Lorber's 4K edition of Death Wish supports both a 2.0 mono track as well as a newly created 5.1 audio mix. I watched the film in its entirety with a 5.1, and I've got to say I was pretty disappointed. Clearly, the dialogue was bleeding through both the front speakers pretty much through the duration of the film, and it rarely, if ever, used the center. It got to the point that I checked my receiver's audio settings, made sure the 5.1 was checked on the 4K menu, ran a sound test on the speakers, and popped in another film just to make sure it wasn't a problem on my end. Nope, the 5.1 was just mixed that way. It felt as if it was just a mono output in a 5.1 container. I can't be sure if this was intentional, but that's what I experienced. Additionally, the surrounds were pretty much absent of any meaningful discrete activity as well. Afterwards, I rewatched several scenes with the 2.0 mono, and I found it to be a more focused experience. I don't have the previously released Blu-ray to compare the two tracks, so I can't determine if they are the same, but it sounded fine to me. The movie's audio is a product of its time, but the track still sounded clean with no imperfections in the source. For the picture quality, I'm going to give Death Wish on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray an A-. Kino's 4K transfer of this gritty crime drama really shows off well. The Dolby Vision offers subtle enhancements, giving you a much fuller picture. For those that enjoy the film, this 4K is worth the upgrade. For the audio mix, I'm going to score this one a D. If I were grading this purely based off the mono, I might have scored it a little bit higher, but unfortunately the 5.1 is very lackluster. If I were you, I'd forget that track even exists and stick with the 2.0 mono. So that is my review of Death Wish on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray from Kino Lorber. If you're interested in picking up a copy for yourself, I will leave an Amazon link in the comments section. If you use it, it really helps out the channel. But if you have the disc already, let me know your thoughts down below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.